真空
Hey, what's going on, guys? System Psycho back with the combo crew, Don 3, Josh. What's up? Today we want to talk about a very nice subject that we enjoy, and that is beat 'em ups. So what we're going to talk about is what actually makes a good beat 'em up. We figure since a lot of people talk about beat 'em ups, nobody really talks about
They'll never make them joints like that.
like what makes a good beat 'em up. So we grew up with beat 'em ups.
Yes,
I grew up with beat 'em ups.
Oh
Whenever I think of an arcade, I think of beat 'em ups, such as Final Fight, Streets of Rage, Golden
old X-Men joint.
The X-Men joint, exactly.
The Turtles.
So those are just examples of beat 'em ups. If you guys don't know exactly what they are, you're just basically characters going around just beating the shit out of people. It's very simple. So we just want to start off with what exactly makes a good beat 'em up. And I don't know, Josh, you want to start off with
Kick that thing off.
Yeah. What's something you think that makes a good beat 'em up in your opinion?
I mean, honestly, it's fighting. You know what I mean?
Okay,
so it's the moves, you know,
Okay.
and it's the action. It's the pacing of it. Like, I remember when I first got started playing beat 'em ups, you know,
Okay.
it was like NES. It was the NES days.
Yeah.
And the first one I ever played was Kung Fu. And, you know, so exactly. And the thing that was cool about Kung Fu is like the enemies always came. It was like constantly coming at you.
Yeah, you gotta keep moving. Let it go. I can't stop. I can't stop.
Exactly, and it was like, but you had like
shit.
different things. Like you could jump, like you could side kick, you could punch,
Yeah.
you could go down, you could sweep, all those type of things. And then like gradually it got into Double Dragon, and Double
my
Dragon
God.
2, and even like I remember playing Prisoners of War too.
Okay,
you know,
I remember that one. Yeah.
And those games, you had variety, and back then, I mean, it's very limited to what the variety we get in today's genre of the game.
Yeah.
But you know, back then, that was kind of what made it, and I remember how it took off from there because I remember seeing stuff like it's not just about just the regular moves, but you got special moves. Like in Double Dragon, you could do the jump kick,
And the hurricane kick.
The knee.
Yep. Knee him the fuck off the building. Yeah,
You see a Bobo like,
Bobo coming out with his big ass head like
That
throwing
dude's
you over his
head.
shoulder.
Oh, right. That's what I said. We always just talk about Bobo. Like, he was so fucked up. You two gut punches and throw you over. Fucked up, man.
Open up the door and just
Right.
come out. But and in that game too, you could pick up the weapons. You could use the weapons.
Yeah.
That was like that's probably like one of the core things for a fucking beat 'em up is the weapons. Like you can just pick a weapon like a trash can,
Yeah.
you got that baseball bat, or, you know what I'm saying? Pick trash can, you got big ass fucking turkey in there. That's unsanitary shit. Big trash can, you got big ass turkey. Big Joe.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I like one of my big things is like you were talking about earlier was the special attacks. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like for Streets of Rage. You know,
Oh,
like
yeah.
that's in part one. Like, you know, you fighting, but you getting your ass whooped. You like, shit, I got called the cavalry. Like,
The cop comes.
right?
He comes with a bazooka.
They shoot that joint.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, and then like you know, part two was better because you know the characters had. I mean, that
They
was
had their own
yeah, they had
specific
special
special
moves,
moves.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like Axel. Yeah,
Yeah.
Axel. Bad knuckles.
Bad knuckle.
Yeah, dude.
So like Arnold Schwarzenegger and shit.
I used to like to grab them though by the head because in that you could grab them, you could jump over them.
Nah,
and
you
then
got
swing them, or you could stand in the front and sneak the shit out of them.
Me and my son were playing. We're playing Streets of Rage in part two, and every time we play, he would keep grabbing me. Like, man, we let go, man.
Yeah.
Flip over, flip back. Slam. Like, yo, why you keep slamming? I can't control it.
That shit looks so gay too. Like if you're Axel and you
Yeah.
grab him, he's like this. He
Back
gets grabbed
over.
like the Axel looks like this when he gets grabbed from behind. Dude, that shit looks so fucking stupid.
Oh my god.
But yeah, the special moves is definitely something I really enjoy because when I play Final Fight, I'm Hager because with Hager you can grab him, you jump and you power drive him, you power drive him, and dude, I can only beat the game with Hager just because with Cody and Guy they're just like simple like regular,
Right.
but with Hager you just like
That's the muscle. That's the
exactly.
muscle.
So those moves are like essential.
I think that the co-op play is the biggest thing for beat 'em up.
Boy,
You know what I'm saying?
absolutely.
Like, I mean,
Yep.
it's okay to do it by yourself, but when you have
friend.
a friend or you got a couple friends, I mean,
Or 6 friends on
right,
X-Men.
right? Yeah, you can do more damage to the people, the enemies you're playing, and I mean, when I came out, I got a twin brother, so me and my brother, we play everything together, so we always would do the beat 'em up together. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, teamwork, figuring out how to beat certain bosses and stuff. So.
And I think that's one of the reasons why I love beat 'em up so much, because obviously we grew up in a time where you would come over to somebody's house and you play a game together, and beat 'em ups was like the one where it's just like, it was just fun, dude, because it's so simple, it's not complicated. You just go around beating the shit out of people, and if you're really good, you can like breeze through it.
Like one of my favorite memories of a beat up is was the Ninja Turtles.
The arcade game.
The arcade game.
Yeah.
Like it just came. I mean, it came out, but it came out like right around time. It was like the first movie came out.
Okay.
Yeah. The first movie, whatever. So, but man, that thing was top notch, man. And the thing was so cool was that it had all the characters from the cartoon.
Yeah.
Bebop, Rocksteady, and then it got moved over to the to the NES.
Yeah.
And they added them the extra
levels.
Yeah.
With the polar bear and the leather jacket.
And it was cool because I remember playing it, but they had the samurai.
In the dojo.
In the dojo, that's pretty cool, man.
What's good about that game is all 4 turtles, you got to play together, and like you said, it was a good adaptation, which I think is a really good thing when you try to bring a game in, because you don't want, it's not like the original NES game, which has like characters that you're just like, who the fuck are these people?
Right. Or they just make these made up characters for just that game.
And what's cool about that game too, I guess another thing that I personally like is when like a beat 'em up is colorful. Because with the Ninja Turtles game, it's colorful and it has like when you hit people or like the cinematic scenes, the screenshots, they have like pow or something. It's like, it's just fun. It's like arcade like.
I like it, but you know what? I always one big thing I liked about was the music, especially for Streets of Rage Part 2.
Oh yeah.
I was just like, dude, like for
Casio, man.
I still love the music.
I rocked that. They even have their own names to that song too. Yeah, they got their own names. They got all kinds of. Guy got his sleeves rolled up doing that during one arm.
Yeah, I mean, you can also talk about the graphics for the arcade games. The graphics were a lot better than they were on the NES.
Yeah, the console
because
version.
8-bit from the arcade, whatever. But X-Men, that was like one of the really first beat 'em ups I really paid attention to when I was a kid. You know what I'm saying? Besides Double Dragon, but in the arcade wise, I never saw that.
It looked like a real cartoon.
Yeah, like in the beginning, like when they had Magneto in the beginning, it was like X-Men, his eyes lights up. I was like, oh shit!
Well, the arcade experience for beat 'em ups was a lot different though than the console, because it's like when you guys were just saying about like the co-op experience of it, and talking about the arcade experience of it. Because I remember you had games like The Simpsons, that was 4-player.
That was a really good.
You had 6-player on X-Men. It was 4-player on Dungeons and Dragons, the Tower of Doom.
Yeah.
You had the 4 players on that. Even even the Captain America and the Avengers.
Yeah,
you had the 4 players on that.
Was that an arcade?
That was arcade.
Because I remember that one for the
NES one.
With the one with bitches like this the whole time.
You walk
and you walking with your arms folded the whole fucking time. Shooting beams out your eye.
Yeah, but that was what was cool about it was multiplayer. I definitely agree with you guys on that. Multiplayer was a big part of it, and talking about just the overall experience of having people come over to play. When you were in the arcade, you would line up with your friends or line up with other people and play like that. But even moving to the next points that you guys were making as far as presentation goes, the thing that I find has been interesting about it is games like that always stood out to me, like you were saying about the colors and the flash and the style. But for me, it was always the things like Battletoads, where like Battletoads, like you could kick them.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Like flying the screen.
I mean, like literally hanging foot in that ass, like.
The thing about Battletoads, what Josh is saying, is so funny because it was just so different because their foot would change into like a spiked boot, or their head would turn into fucking ram horns and shit. Or like when you're in the level, you're in the rope, and you get to the side, you turn into like a bell. You can like slam into the enemies.
When you fast forward, to a couple years ago. I always talk about the Scott Pilgrim game. I love it.
Yeah.
And the reason why I like the game is because they made it a really good beat 'em up, but at the same time they paid homage to all the other games from back in the day.
Yeah.
I mean, they incorporated Mario Brothers, Street Fighter. Because Scott Pilgrim had the fireball. It was just like they it was like an 80s, early 90s explosion to one game. Like it was all mixed into one, and the music was really good too.
Yeah, the music was really dope. What's good about that game too is not only was it a beat 'em up, but also had like, in my opinion, had RPG elements because you had to level up.
Yeah.
You didn't start off with just all the moves like with the beat 'em ups we grew up with. You know, you didn't level up. You just had your shit. You know.
Yeah.
But they wanted to try something different where like you level up and stuff, which in my opinion, I mean, yeah, I get it. Like it's good in some ways, but I like it where I just have all the moves, man. Like, you start off really vanilla. You start off with barely anything, and so the first few levels they're not as fun because you can't do the hop on the head. You can't do an uppercut. And
I guess that's where the replay value comes back in, because after you get all that stuff, then you want to go back and you play. And then like that was because my oldest son and my youngest son, that's his game. He used to play Scott Pilgrim, and he was leveled all the way up.
Yeah.
So when I would play with him, he'd just be punishing people like one hit dead. And I'm just like 4, 5, 6. Help me, man, But yeah, that's the only thing I didn't like about it was the fact that I want to have all the moves right in there.
You feel the same way?
The experience would have been a whole lot better by just by having the moves right.
And at the same time, I'm not saying that if it's not like that, I just think both ways is good in my opinion.
But leveling up was good in Castle Crashers.
I played it, but I haven't really gotten through that one too much.
Yeah, Castle Crashers had like it was pretty much the same type of platform, and you leveled up your character, and I had no problem with it in there. I think it has its place, especially because really that's the new generation.
Yeah, I know.
Like Dragon's Crown on PS3.
That's
a beat 'em up that has some RPG elements.
That's actually cool because when you play it, you get certain points. And then you can buy certain moves, which is cool because then you can pick, okay, which move do I want first? You know, you go through the card, the tarot card, you customize it, which is pretty fun. But with Scott Pilgrim, you don't know when you level up; it just levels up for you. You don't know. So I think it depends on how they do it.
There's a trick to you gotta like go to the video store and buy all the videos and you unlock these special moves and stuff. And that's the thing about it now is like from back in the day, like we had the game books and things like that. I mean now you got to just click on on Google something and it pops right up, which is I think is really cool. But the special features and like the cheats and stuff that you had back in the day, it's all but gone. So that kind of sucks. But like Golden Axe was kind of cool too. It's because you could ride the animals. It was cool. I mean, and certain games, each character, it's usually 3 characters. And they were all special, moves or whatever. But another thing that is a running thing with all beat 'em ups is the difficulty level. Like you start at the beginning and then you work your way up, and it gets harder as you go. And that's what I mean. I wouldn't want to play a game where I'm just running through it. It's no fun.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? Like you playing, a boss level, and you beat the boss, and the fucking hands is fucking sweaty and shit. You're trying to beat it.
But at the same time, you don't want a fucking hard ass job like Streets of Rage 3, where you can't even beat the first level.
Streets of Rage 3 is a different thing though, because I don't necessarily know how difficult it is. Their levels were just ridiculously long.
They were long,
and I think that's another element to me that makes a good beat 'em up is making sure that the levels and that the game it plays linear. I remember one of my favorite games, and I was a PlayStation fan. Like when PS1 was out, so I didn't really mess with my Sega systems were the Master System and the Genesis. I didn't really mess with Saturn, and I didn't really mess with Dreamcast, but. Guardian Heroes on Sega Saturn. I remember when that game came out, and what really caught me about that game was much like Golden Axe and like Knights of the Round and that style of beat 'em up. It was very similar to that, but I just remember the levels. They were so colorful. They moved. The enemies that you would fight. It was progressive the whole time, but it never felt like the level was too long. You know what I mean? Like the pacing was done really well.
I mean, that's how a game should be made. Like when you play Streets of Rage 2, you go all the way to the end. Always a boss at the end. You know what I'm saying? You gotta fight that boss, and then you go to the next level, and then you fight all the way down another boss, and it gets hard. Right, and it goes all the way. I mean, if they would stick to that. And, I haven't seen any games right now that any beat up games. I mean, aside from Scott Pilgrim, which came out like 2010 or something.
Yeah, it came out a while ago.
Scott Pilgrim, Castle Crashers.
They came out with a Double Dragon Neon.
That was actually pretty cool because that took the element from from Batman Returns and from Spider-Man Maximum Carnage when you could like get the guy in the middle and like smash their heads together.
You know, a game I saw a couple of times when I was a kid was the Alien vs Predator game.
Oh,
and they had Dutch in the joint.
Yeah, Dutch in the joint.
That was, I mean, dude, like even from like early '90s, the way the games still look fantastic.
Yeah, they look good. They
like,
look nice.
Really good. Even somebody, I don't know if it was you. Somebody told me about the Punisher game. I never even knew about it.
Oh yeah, you could be Punisher and Nick Fury,
and you could get guns. You could shoot them.
Yeah, you could shoot. And see that's another thing That's something for me with the beat 'em up genre, and I guess because we grew up from the 8-bit era all the way to today, so we got to see the evolution of them. But I always like to see the ones that add just little differences in them. Like I remember there was a game called Night Slashers, and before that there was Splatterhouse, and those were the first two horror-based beat 'em ups that I remember playing.
That shit was tight.
That's from the Neo Geo, right? No,
TurboGrafx 16. And the thing that was cool, Night Slashers was an arcade game. Okay. And what was cool about that was that you fought zombies and like monsters and stuff like that, but it was still the beat 'em ups. And I remember there was a guy that was named Christopher, and he was like a vampire hunter. He was like one of the characters that you could use. And the thing that was tight is that they had like combos that they did when you would like hit the buttons, it would throw a combo. But then like the special move, he'd like take a crucifix out and it would like burn the guy up, or he could jump up in the air and grab him in the DDT, and like he would DDT him and like it was a zombie, so their head would explode, you know. And it's little things like that, thinking outside the box, that kind of, to me, makes it interesting, you know. And I guess that's more because I look for those type of qualities that make a game unique because growing up with it. Like, remember the Warriors on PS2? Was it PS2 that came out?
Yeah, PS2, Xbox.
That was a beat 'em up in itself, you know. And that had a different. And when
I thought it was PS3.
No,
that was on PS2. Yeah. And that had the different elements too, because like you could like smash like the person up against the wall, and like the fight, and like the fighting was different. It was more like kind of an open world type, the Rockstar type thing. So I enjoy seeing that kind of stuff when they do something a little bit different from the norm, you know, because I mean, face it, in the 90s when we grew up, there were a lot of killer hits, but there were a lot of them that like you had Final Fight and Streets of Rage, you had Captain Commando, you had in these types of those types of games where it was where you were actually straight punch kick, you know, like that type of stuff. That's what it was. So when you got like those games that just added that little bit extra, it was just like damn, like.
But see, if they make games like that now, I mean, I don't think the kids, you know, this generation will I mean, it'll be geared towards guys our age. You know what I'm saying? Like,
So I mean, what Josh is talking about, you know, different little things. The thing that came up to me is when he mentioned Captain Commando, the characters.
Oh,
the characters are just so off the wall, especially in Captain Commando. You got Captain Commando, you got Baby, you got Ninja, Mac the Knife,
and
just
Baby
and just in any general beat 'em up, they have just like. Because all the characters in some way need to be sort of different. You gotta have the guy that's just the basic guy, then you got the smaller guy, the faster guy, the girl, the muscle.
The muscle,
you
like
know.
Max.
Yeah,
like Max
exactly.
and Haggard.
Haggard, that's what I'm saying, the wrestler, you know.
Did you ever play with skate?
Oh yeah.
He gets on top of your head.
Yeah, that's what I used to do. Jump up on him and hit him in the head with
you used to do like the windmill.
Right, Nah, not me, man. This is either Axel or
That's what I'm saying, but the characters to me is a big thing too, man. You know, you gotta have a variety, and that's what I like about them because they're so different, they're so creative, and trying to come up with different types of aspects within each character.
I think it's hard to do it because it's like you have those guys that you know they grew up in our time and they're trying to make a game like that for us, but I don't know if it would really translate. Because I mean, because people they get the games instead of sticking to the formula that everybody loved from back in the day, they try to add some new weird shit to it, and then it just throws you off. I mean, like Double Dragon reboot, like they made Double Dragon. I want to make it exactly like it was for PS2. I mean, except with better graphics. You know what I'm saying? But
well, how about a game though, like a game that I really loved was Beautiful Joe.
That's a good. You played Beautiful Joe?
And Beautiful Joe was a prime example of them adding a new element to a beat 'em up and giving it to you. Like, I really wish that Capcom would make Beautiful Joe HD. Because the thing that was great about that was that you had the element where you could speed things up, slow things down.
Was tight. You know,
like when you add different things like that to it, I think that they
he's got the helmet, like a little Power Ranger kinda.
Yeah, and he could run through and he'd like fight the things and like you could slow it down and break them apart.
I played that
game's tight.
No, that game is really good, and that's something that they can add. Like they don't have to go way off the script, but adding little things like that, they can update it. They can make new beat 'em ups that would appeal to us. They just need to find the new ways to entice players, and not just old school players, but the new generation of players. And I think that's why Castle Crashers did so well. Because Castle Crashers, you had the 4 players, so it was nostalgic for us that were arcade players. You had that cartoon and kind of comical style, the humorous style to it. But like the gameplay, it was just fun. Yeah. That was a fun game.
Would you consider the Arkham series? Would you consider it a beat 'em up? I mean, because there's certain. I mean, when
it has elements of it. It's an open world.
When he has like 5 people, Batman's like, no, what are you doing? No,
I guess that's like the newer school.
Yeah, I think that that's the Arkham series. It's fucking. Amazing.
Yeah, I think action adventure games have kind of evolved from what the beat 'em up was that we grew up with. Because I think about a game like, for instance, we were talking about like Golden Axe, and we were talking about like Knights of the Round and those types of things. And what I think about when I equate to it to say from the last generation of games, God of War. God of War has those same type of beat 'em up elements
that's a beat 'em up
that you had. It's just not side scrolling. It's open world. So I think it kind of gets.
Yeah, that is a fucking beat 'em up. That's a fucking beat 'em up. Yeah, God of War is a fucking beat 'em up.
Yeah,
it's a beat 'em up. Energy bars. Yeah.
I mean, to go off, one of the main things for me beat 'em ups is the controls.
Oh yeah.
So, one very technical thing. I like it when you can run with the character. You hit forward and the character can run. Because a lot of beat 'em ups I played in the past, you can just walk, and sometimes the characters are so slow. And it's like, come on, man. So if you can dash, that to me, I don't know, that just makes the game so much more better.
Well, I mean, and speaking of controls, like on the Streets of Rage 2, there's a button you press, and Axel does the
thing. You just go crazy.
And you're like, I didn't mean to push that. So if you're in the way, you're gonna catch the full blast, but you gotta time that jump right. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that was one of the things about controls that I like. But
that game actually has 30 controls. You know, you really had to control the character, and it was on point in my opinion.
You know which one I think when you bring up controls, and this is like the outside the box one, but you remember Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks?
Yeah, dude, you know what? Dude, people should. I like that joint.
That was a great.
I like that joint.
That was a great game.
So what happened with the controls?
The controls were great.
Yeah.
That was one of those games. I had it on Xbox.
Yeah, we played that joint.
Yeah, and it's like exactly what you said though, because the characters they run when they move slow, they move smoothly. When you hit in the combos, the combos register on point. And the thing that was really cool about that is that it gave you a chance to do a fatality.
Right.
So you'd be in the middle of a beat 'em up and you could hit the fatality on it. And then the boss battles were actually legitimate like fights like you would do in Mortal Kombat, like a fighting game.
How that game, I served the shit out of it.
You played that joint like,
oh my god.
Yeah.
I think I used to have that joint.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? I don't even have that game. I'm slacking.
Everybody's just mad for that game, please. He needs to get it. What's the reward for PS2? Yeah.
Exactly. You gotta get it. And honestly, I would say get it on Xbox.
Xbox?
Yeah, the controlling on it is better. It's just smooth.
PlayStation the bus for me.
You know what? I'll probably get it for both. Why not? I'll get it for both. The game's about like $5 somewhere.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Alright guys, so that was it. Those are some of the things we think that, would make a good beat 'em up. Once again,
like, share, subscribe. Like, share, subscribe. Tell your friends, tell your grandma, tell your cousins, tell everybody, man.
And once again, if you guys have any comments, whether it's what you guys think makes a good beat 'em up, what were some of your favorite beat 'em ups, anything that we discussed, we'd like to see the feedback. Once again, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, everything, guys. We appreciate you guys watching. Peace out.
Peace.